Let me tell you about the fastest way to lose friends in this business. Get your license and then post a picture of your keys with the caption, "Just got my license, send me your referrals." I want you to think about the last time somebody you'd known for 10 years suddenly needed something from you. Maybe it was a multi-level marketing pitch. Maybe it was a GoFundMe. Whatever it was, you felt it before you even read the message or heard their pitch. That little shift. That's not a friend talking to you anymore. That's a salesperson who's found a fresh list. Here's the problem. Most of your sphere, your friends, your family, your old coworkers, the parents on your kids' soccer team, they already know 100 things about you. They know you make great chili. They know you coached Little League for 3 years. They know your dog's name, but they may not know you sell real estate. And if the only way they find out is through a sales pitch, you've just told them the most important thing about your business is the thing that makes them uncomfortable. Today, I'm going to show you how to fix that. Jim Rohn used to say, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." Most agents wish announcing their business were easier. Some magic post, some clever script that removes all the awkwardness. It's not going to happen that way. What you can get better at is the why behind the announcement. Here's the law that governs everything we're going to talk about today. People do not resent you having a business. They resent feeling used. Let me say that again because it's the whole premise in one sentence. People do not resent you having a business. They resent feeling used. Your sphere doesn't care that you sell houses. What they care about is whether the relationship was real before you needed something from them, or whether the relationship is the transaction. Michael Mayer, who wrote the book on relationship-based referral business, built his entire 7-figure production on one idea. He called it the gift economy: generosity, impact, fun, trust. Notice something about all 4 of those words. Not one of them is ask. Every one of them is about what you're putting into the relationship before you ever expect anything back out of it. So the goal I have today isn't, here's a post to make. It's bigger than that. The goal is to change the sequence. Give first, announce second, ask never until they ask you. But let me tell you about an agent that I worked with a few years back. Brand new, nervous. She had 400 people on her phone, and she was convinced that if she didn't broadcast to all 400 of them immediately, she was leaving money on the table. So she did what everybody tells new agents to do. Mass text. "Hey, guess what? I'm officially a realtor. Keep me in mind for all your real estate needs." She got 2 replies. One said, "Congrats." One said, "Another real estate agent?" Most said nothing at all. And one that used to invite her to dinner every month, that invitation stopped coming. A few months later, she called me discouraged. "Nobody in my sphere is sending me business." And I asked her one question. When was the last time you gave any of those 400 people something with no ask attached? Silence. That's the piece nobody tells you. Your sphere isn't ignoring your business. They're responding to how you introduced it and how you communicate it. And you only get one first impression on this, so let's build it right. Here's the framework and how I want you to think about letting your sphere know what you do. I call it the announce, don't advertise approach. 4 moves in order. Move 1, let it show up as part of your life, not a pivot in your life. Don't make a separate announcement post. Weave it into what you're already sharing. Your post about your kid's baseball game? Mention that you had a showing right before first pitch and barely made it. Your post about 4th of July cookout prep? Mention that a client's closing gift is sitting in the corner because you're dropping it off tomorrow. Just talk about your real estate life like you talk about your life. A tree doesn't announce that it's growing, it just grows. And one day you look up and it's 20 feet taller. Let your business be the same way in your content. It doesn't need a press release. It needs to show up as a natural thread in the life that you're already living out loud. Move 2, lead with value that has nothing to do with the transaction. Before you ever say, "I'm an agent," give something useful that has 0 strings attached. A market update nobody asked for, with real context. Not call me to sell your house, but something like, "Hey, if you've been curious about what homes on our block are actually going for, here's what closed last month." Host something, sponsor something, show up to something. The relationship gets planted long before the business ever gets discussed. When you give first, the announcement of your business isn't a big reveal. It's just confirmation of something people were already noticing. Move 3, when you do announce it like news, not like a pitch. There's a real difference between, "I got my license, send me referrals," and I got my license. I've got a lot to learn, and I want to thank the people who believed I could do this. One is an ask, one is gratitude. People run from asks and lean into gratitude. Say it once, say it well, and then let it go. You don't need to repost it every month. One well-written, honest post, a story of why you did this, not just that you did this, will do more than 50 keep me in mind posts combined. Every post after that should be about value, useful information, news about the market, tips. Move 4. Make the follow-up about them, not about you. This is the one that everybody seems to skip. After you announce, don't go quiet and wait for leads to fall from the sky. Reach out, individually, not as a mass text, to people who matter to you. But make the conversation about them. Ask about their kids' season. Ask about how their job's going. And at the very end, and only if it fits naturally, mention that you'd love to help them if they ever need anything real estate related. And then drop it. That's it. No, just checking in. The relationship carries the business, not the other way around. Now, before I wrap this up, I want to give you the attitude that makes all 4 of those moves actually work. Because you can follow the steps perfectly and still come across wrong if you don't have this underneath it. The attitude is mutually beneficial. Not what can I get from my sphere, and not the flip side either. Not I'll just give and never bring up my business because I don't want to bother anyone. Both of those are off balance. One's selfish, the other is scared. Mutually beneficial means you walk into every conversation believing 2 things at the same time. I have something of value to offer this person, and this person has value to me. That's it. That's the whole posture. When a friend mentions they're thinking about moving in the spring, you're not pouncing on a lead. There's a resource that happens to be sitting right there in their life already, and helping them is good for both of you. They get an agent who actually cares about them. You get to do business with someone you trust instead of a stranger off a website. That's not a favor going one direction. That's 2 people helping each other. Good business is never about a good deal for one side. It's about a good deal for both sides, or it shouldn't happen. Carry that attitude into how you let people know what you do, and you'll never sound pushy again because you won't be pushing. You'll be offering from a place that assumes the relationship is worth something to both of you. Here's the law underneath all 4 of those moves. Your sphere will forgive you for having a business. They will not forgive you for treating them like a lead list. I mail something to my sphere at least once every month with something of value. A neighborhood update, market trends, home maintenance tips, whatever. They definitely know what I do for a living. But when I talk to them in person, I almost never bring up real estate until they do. However, when I'm genuinely interested in them and their life first, they almost always do bring up real estate at some point. And now the conversation can proceed naturally and comfortably. And what if real estate never comes up? I just let it be. And I don't feel like the meeting was a waste of time if that happens. The relationship has now been deepened. So when they do see my posts or other real estate related content, they'll see me as someone who doesn't push, but as someone who helps. Look, tactics change. The scripts you use today will feel dated in 2 years. Lead gen platforms will rise and fall. But this principle doesn't expire. People give business to people they trust, and trust is built by generosity that expects nothing back. That's not a real estate strategy. That's just how relationships have worked since the beginning of time. Real estate is just the arena we're playing it out in. So if you're 2 weeks into this business trying to figure out how to tell 250 people that you know without sounding like you're selling, don't lead with the announcement. Lead with the relationship you are already building and let the announcement be a quiet, honest footnote to it. Here's your assignment this week. Don't write an announcement post yet, or some other post about how great you are. Instead, pick 5 people in your sphere, people you actually care about, and reach out with 0 ask. A text, a call, a coffee invite. Just reconnect. Do that 5 times this week, and then, only after you've shown interest in their story, let your business show up naturally in your story. That's the order. Relationship first, announcement second, business third. If this helped you see it differently, hit subscribe. I put out new content every week for agents who are trying to build something that actually lasts, not just something that closes one deal and burns the relationship in the process. I'll see you on the next one.